Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Buzz Your Spirits. I am so excited, as usual, to have an amazing special guest with us today. My beautiful friend, Emily Hayward, a cosmic priestess, a quantum light language healer with unique light codes. She's a sensitive empath, frozen and shut down with CPTSD much of her life, feeling too overwhelmed. Isn't that a familiar journey, anyone? At 19 years old, she was diagnosed with chronic fatigue with it lasted decades, really. It was on and off. And, that really affects one's life when you don't know what's happening. But then she started immersing in her own self-healing through different modalities. And it is through her life traumas that Emily overcame this and found her courage and her own strength. Today, in her 40s, after many dark nights of the soul, she's holding space for many, including me. She's bringing immense compassion and her purity of heart to those healing and on awakening journeys. You may notice this is a little different today because I've decided to present my guest with this little introduction because I felt called to do that. It is her connection to source through isolation in spiritual initiations that connected her more and more to the 0 point in her heart. And like magic, she was developing gifts that allows her with so much heart and humility to transmute dense energies with her fascinating and complex light language that I'm pretty sure you will get the honor to hear today. She's holding space for others with one-on-one sessions and also with her beautiful Heart Haven community that I'm so lucky and blessed to be a part of. She was activated for assisting humanity through our ascension. So, Emily, my darling, hi, and welcome to Buzz Your Spirit. Hi, love.
Hello, beautiful. Wow, what can I say? Thank you for that introduction, and it's an honor to be here with you. I feel your heart, and I'm very grateful to be part of this conversation.
I am so happy to have you as a guest on my show. I'm so happy to be here with you.
You too.
Emily, you are so wonderful. Like, I mean this with my whole heart. I don't have enough words to express my gratitude to you for this beautiful Heart Haven community that you've built. And I would like for people to know you, to get to feel you, feel your heart. And I would like to start this conversation with this ascension. What is your definition of it, Emily? What are we doing?
Oh gosh, what a big question to start with. Well, to be honest, like everyone else, I kind of know we're feeling our way as we go. We just know something's happening, right? We know we're going through some massive shifts. We can't always put words to it. A lot of us are going through this huge awakening process, remembering more of who we truly are, and we feel like we're getting activated or receiving or remembering that inner call that we're here for something more than we thought we were, and we are more than we thought we were.
Yeah.
And we're going through a process that many call ascension, where we seem to be raising our frequency and helping raise the frequency here. So a lot of us are here at this time and chose to be here at this time to go through this shifting consciousness towards more unity, love, and harmony, and come out of more of the separation, conflict energy that's been running here for a long, long time. And I can't give you an exact definition because, like everyone, I'm kind of living it, and it's a journey. And as we go further and further, we discover more and more and more. And it's kind of that mysterious unfolding. But I think many of us know and feel that we're part of something much bigger, that there's a big shift happening. Many people talk about the end of the Kali Yuga cycle, a time of forgetting, and now we're entered in a time, a new era in history of a time of remembering, a time of remembering who we truly are and restoring really the truth of who we are beyond all the distorted energies that have been running, sort of shutting us down and hiding the truth of who we are in our as divine multidimensional beings, essentially, at this
Yeah.
time living a human experience. And I feel like we're actually becoming a new divine human, you might
Yeah.
say, where we're learning to be human and be all that we are multidimensionally, which is quite a tough journey for a lot of us because it's hard to, do all that through this dense form. But
Yeah.
as we embody more light and go on this journey, we sort of are lightening up from the inside out, out, literally. And so as we do that, more of the density and the old that no longer serves us, which is really simply not the stuff that's not true, the conditioning, the programs, the distortion, the density, the traumas, the fears, the wounding, you name it, all of that starts to come up to the surface to be transmuted and released. And we end up more and more luminous and more true in our essence, in our core essence, and more clear about who we are and what we're here to live.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful what we're doing right now? And hence the reason why so many of us are going or have gone through a difficult life journey to this point, let's say, because I think it is getting easier and easier. And even the one I think awakening now, it may not be as tough as it was for the one that awakened before. And so your journey up until you were awakening has been quite challenging, right? With the PTSD.
Yeah, that was quite a long journey of illness. And I think a lot of people can probably relate to that journey of never
Mhm.
feeling they fit in, feeling weird compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
For me, it was feeling very, very sensitive and empathic and being, too sensitive and feeling everything and feeling so open and exposed and so overwhelmed a lot of the time. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize until you said kindly that I'm in my 40s. I'm now 51. So
Oh, the same age about, yeah.
but when I hit sort of around 40, I started doing some trauma healing, some somatic healing. And that was a real shifting point for me after decades of being confused about why I'm exhausted all the time and why I've got all these health challenges and why I'm feeling so overwhelmed. And I realized that I've come here to heal and grow through, really the wounded healer journey and to really heal deep levels of trauma and wounding, not just in this lifetime. In fact, it was quite confusing because a lot of the trauma wasn't tangible to me. I didn't feel like I'd had a traumatic upbringing. Yes, you can point to, the classic sort of childhood wounds and,
Yeah. Yeah.
attachment trauma and all of those types of things that have a big impact. But yet this was more than that. And I now know from a lot of healing work that I chose a path, the kind of one of the soul themes I came in with, which is unique to me, and but maybe others can relate, is one of really finding harmony through conflict. And so therefore part of my journey has involved a lot of challenges. You can look at your astrology chart to see where Pluto and Saturn are forming and all these things to see that you've come, what kind of growth journey you've chosen. And for me, I've obviously chosen quite a hard one.
Yeah, I can relate.
But that it's all happening for us, but yes, I think a lot of us can relate. A lot of us who I know, this hasn't been an easy journey of all love, unicorns, rainbows and bliss all the time. And in fact it's been often the opposite of that. And because the challenges help us to grow and strengthen, and I needed to really move through a deeper level of healing to access my gifts and to access what I am now. And in fact, the path of the wounded healer really is that those deep pains, wounds and traumas and challenges do become your greatest gifts, even though it doesn't feel like that at the time. But for
Yeah.
me, healing these, my gifts that I come through, that I have now and that are still emerging, because I'm still going through this process, are were really, for my gifts didn't just come on and weren't just like, oh, it's all great. It was actually really, really difficult for me to bring my gifts through. Though, you could say that the seeds of my gifts were coated in lots of pain and trauma. And so I've had to go through healing of those traumas and do a lot of shadow work and a lot of inner healing to enable my gifts to come online and enable for me to have the courage to not just have gifts, but to share them with others. So a lot of, witch wound and the persecution imprint and all of these things that a lot of us are familiar with as starseeds, light workers, however you want to define that, because we didn't come here to sort of live in the normal way. We came here to move through challenges and be a shining light for others, and to really be part of this collective shift, and to essentially bring more love. And so that often involves a lot of deep healing of ourselves and really clearing our channels and purifying ourselves so we can hold more and more light, so we can anchor in those higher frequencies. And there's a lot happening, particularly this year. 2025 is the year of the snake. And yes, I can attest to that, where there's a lot of unraveling going on, a lot of shedding, a lot of release, a lot of deep, deep, deep healing and closing of old cycles, so we can really ascend and rise up more in our power, in our full, authentic, creative expression, and really hold the vision for and live as more of divine beings, more as being the change we want to see in the world. It's not often an easy path to do that. But the beauty and gift of that is that it's like those traumas and those wounds acts as like springboards to your greatest evolution and your greatest growth and your greatest expression. And so however much you can get mired in the pain of it sometimes, it can feel like it's never ending. It is always, helping us to become stronger and brighter and clearer and truer.
Yeah, exactly. And I have an analogy for that. The elastic band, the more you pull it down and you let it go, the higher it's gonna bounce up,
Yes, exactly.
And when we're in it, these dark night of the souls, it's basically us clearing, purging, and releasing all that's been accumulated, not just in this lifetime, and most of it is actually from parallel other lifetimes. But when we're going through it, we don't know. We're not awake yet to know what's going on. So it makes it even tougher, in a sense, more challenging, because like, what's going on? What's wrong with me?
Oh,
Am I going
totally.
crazy?
A lot of us think we need to know with our minds, but most of the time we don't. And it's can be a very confusing somatic experience. And part of my journey, at least, sort of, you could call it the divine feminine path, is about embodiment as well. It's not the old way that we used to approach spirituality, which is sort of transcendence and leaving the body. It's really about bringing spirituality in and through this body. And that's why it can feel really hard, because when you go within, when you have the courage to really, really go within and can be really present to everything that's going on here, then, you bump up against those old memories, and they're not necessarily mental memories, they're cellular memories, and they're held in our tissues and in our DNA, and the release of those can feel very confusing, because it doesn't always make sense. You might not have even been a human for these lifetimes, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly,
you
exactly.
don't have a human reference for what's happening. And so it can feel quite daunting at times, but it is all part of the beautiful divine orchestration, really. The truth is that we all are always whole, and we're always perfect. We're always where we're meant to be, yet we're always growing and evolving as well. And part of growing, evolving equals healing. And so it's just part of the path to become more, and or remember more, you could say, because it's not, in a way, we're becoming more because we're evolving, but we're also coming back to what is originally true. If that makes sense.
Exactly. And what the beauty about this life in particular is because we chose to awaken. And like you said, we're embodying more and more light. But in order to do so, we got to make room. We got to make room for all that light coming in, hence all the shadow work equaling dark night of the soul. And we tend to call it like that because it feels a bit dark.
Oh yeah.
It's soul wrenching, gut wrenching, sometimes ache and pains and tears that's coming out. And a lot of us priestesses, we also do it for the collective. We do it for our ancestral line, for our lineage. We do it as a contract because we chose to anchor that in and to work on that. And until you wake up to actually know this to be true, it's it's quite the journey. It's quite the journey.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Caroline. That's really true because a lot of us who are called to be, who are have that in our lineage, like me and you, we are high priestesses and we have been in many
Yeah,
lifetimes.
yeah,
We have that we have that ability to transmute a
mm-hmm.
lot, not just for us, but for the collective. So yes, a lot of the work we do is, nothing in a way is always just personal because we're so
Yeah,
interconnected and we're so you know such a part of a huge ecosystem, and as you know, when we come into our heart and we're into that, what you could say, 0 point of that place of pure heart presence, and you're in your priestessness.
yeah.
I don't have better words to put here, but
Perfect.
it's you do transfer, you do traverse the realms, you're able to be in all places, you can go, there is no time space separation. And
Yeah,
so what you're healing now, in the now moment, is healing multiple dimensions, realities at once, or we're calling in that we're able to influence healing there, right? And so yes, it's those of us who have chosen this path, sometimes our human ego likes to say, really, I don't think so. But those who
what?
who are on who are path to be a healer or a light worker, I mean, all of us, for those of you who might be listening who don't identify with that and feel a bit confused, I do believe that all of us are have gifts, and all of us have access to, you know mystical gifts, and all of that, right? It's just that some of us chose the path of a healer or have that in our lineage, and so part of that path can mean a lot more work in a way than others. So the kind of stuff that you go through and I go through, which is very deep shadow work and embodiment work, using our gifts for our own healing so we can help facilitate healing for others, requires a lot of work, and a lot of commitment and dedication and devotion. It's really the path of devotion towards love and holding that vision, and stepping up and stepping up and stepping up and going through the initiations and things that essentially are here to strengthen us in being a stronger beacon of light. But not everyone has that path. So some of you might be awakening and your calling might be to be the most amazing parent, or
Yeah,
to, create a garden, or, there's so many paths and they're all beautiful and valid. But those who have chosen more of the path of, you could say, the embodied mystic, the priestess light worker, in the way that what I mean by that is where we consciously engage with that and work with that to bring for our
yeah,
soul path and evolution. Because there are plenty of people who, in a way you could say everyone's a light worker, but when you're
yeah,
constantly when you're sorry consciously engaged with that path to focus that and for your healing and the healing and growth of humanity, then that is kind of a more dedicated path, I would say. And so some
yeah,
of us therefore go into the depths, the depths of the depths of the depths of the depths, to bring light to the deepest, deepest, deepest darkness within us and around us, because we have the ability to do that and we chose to do that. So sometimes, on my journey, I often couldn't relate at all to people who were talking about their awakening journeys, because it all just sounded like bliss all the time.
yeah, yeah.
No one really spoke about what I was going through, which was essentially, you could also call a shamanic awakening. A priestess
Mhm.
awakening, shamanic awakening is very different. It's very when you're opening up to your gifts and you have to go into the dark and to really meet the depths of your own pain and wounding and
Yeah,
traumas from this and other lifetimes. And you're bringing on these mystical gifts that you have no context or reference point for.
yeah,
It's kind of a whole different ball game. And when I went through that priestess awakening several years ago, I had no idea what was happening because I had no reference point. I had no one who shared. It was only when I came across a video of a woman who was a shaman who explained her awakening process. Like, oh, thank you for sharing. I wrote to her and I said, thank you for sharing that. I've never had heard anyone share
Right.
that, and now I feel less alone because I didn't realize that this is what was happening. And
Yeah,
so I just wanted to share that. But equally, if you're not going through that, doesn't make you any less than, any worse than. We all have our unique paths and also stages of our path. And so it can be so
exactly.
easy at the moment to go into comparison and, oh, I'm not enough, or I'm, this,
Yeah.
that, and the other. I'm just sharing authentically what my path, and
Mm.
that's all I can do really. But everyone's path is valid. Everyone came in with soul themes and paths to explore and things to experience, and it is all really a divinely perfect tapestry, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, is that, and it's fascinating you just brought that up, because I was actually thinking in my head, wow, because I've been told I went into the deepest depths of darkness, um, which explains why I chose the path of going through so much darkness until now, in my journey. And every single one of us have these gifts and abilities, like you've said, but we all play a part because we're each of us a piece of the puzzle that is source consciousness as a whole, as oneness. And we don't always realize that because we tend to compare. And I've even heard people say, well, if you are a high priestess, or if you are a starseed, or if you are this or that, you should be in your joy and you should be in your abundance already. And I'm like, it does not resonate that much to me, because I feel that the ones that have been kept more in the shadows, in the background, are actually the ones that have done the most work and have faced the most shadows and difficulties in their lives. And it doesn't mean that we are not high priestesses because of it. It doesn't mean that you're not a star seed. And the ones that have chose uh, to anchor something else, because it doesn't mean your work is not as precious, powerful, or extensive, but it just, you're holding different codes. You're anchoring different aspects of the puzzle pieces that we're putting all back together in our remembering journey. And isn't that just so beautiful?
Oh, I love how you put that.
You
So
know?
lovely. Yeah, so beautifully said. So beautifully said. Yeah, I totally agree. And yes, I think there's a lot of misconception that you have to be all healed and perfect and in in that state of bliss all the time to be sort of reach that point, you
Yeah,
know. I think it's a constant path of evolution, and we all carry wounds. We all have to do a lot of healing,
yeah,
and the purification process can be intense. We're carrying a lot from other lifetimes, and but part of the richness of all that is bringing all that into the light, and that integration process and that healing process makes you that adds to your richness and that adds to your depth. When you've gone through that, you can hold a lot of compassion for others, and you can be more centered in your heart. Now, there's a few things
yeah,
to say about this, though. It doesn't mean that if you're not experiencing struggles and pain and trauma that also it's not right, because some people just choose to cover a more joyful path. We all have different,
exactly.
like I said, we all have different paths. There's no comparison really, but all of us are healing and growing. I think it shows the people that I want to go to as a healer. If I went to a healer to facilitate healing for me, I'd want to know that they've gone to the depths that I've gone through, so they can know, they know those depths,
Yeah,
and they've been there, and they know what we're dealing with.
yeah,
And I think, my soul told me right at the beginning of my awakening process that I came here to experience the full spectrum of energies, and that means embracing all of it,
yes,
right? and
yes,
and and honoring the whole spectrum and being able to navigate between them. And so that doesn't mean, so that means not we, it's not that we that so being experiencing some of the lower, slower vibrational energies is just as valid as experiencing the joyful ones.
Yes.
So, and everything is part of the whole. It's just when we
Yeah.
get attached or mired or suppress any of those parts that they become a bit more toxic, you could say.
Yeah. Beautifully
Um,
said. Yes.
so part of the richness of life is that, and part of being in your kind of priestessy abilities is quite an educational process. So there's that shadow work, which is really meeting what's been hidden within you, whether sort of suppressed emotions that you haven't expressed or traumas wounding the stuff that you haven't brought to light. There's that, but then there's also the darker energies, you could say. But part of our journey here as a lot of light workers and star seeds who have come to hold that higher frequency is to be able to go to those live vibrations, to those lower, slower vibrational energies, to really bring unity back, right? So
Yeah.
recognize that everything has a right to exist. And but a lot of us have come here to be sort of spiritual warriors, you could say, which means guardians of the light. And so if you have come here to do deep facilitation of healing for others, as you often have as a priestess, you need to know what you're dealing with. And so
Yeah.
part of us go through an educational process of healing and growing, evolving through meeting these darker, slower, low vibrational energies and the darker beings and energies out there, because everything's playing a role ultimately to strengthen us and to teach us so we can heal and we can become back to the truth of our wholeness. And it's all part of a beautiful orchestrated plan, all of it.
Exactly. And I
um
really think that we've been trained for this many lifetimes before we actually chose to come here, because it's not an easy task to awaken in a physical body, which equals, well, you're going to have to clean the clean the mess first, and the density first before you access that. And many of us did that. We've acquired skills and gifts and abilities and all kinds of training before we actually got here to earth. And it's easy to compare. And I've done it. When I was awakening, I could not understand, well, how come they're there and how come I'm not? I must be lesser than. And I felt this way. And I now I know that's not true. It's not true. Nobody is lesser than anybody. We're all going through each our journey in divine timing. And that is so important. Each and every one of us, whether you've anchored or transmuted deep, dark densities or not, are still doing so much work in the
yeah,
background. And I've seen a little quick video of a few seconds the other day that said, if you only knew what your soul is doing in the background, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, I should be doing more, I should be doing something, you'd laugh at yourself.
yeah,
And I
I
thought
know.
this brilliant.
Yeah, we're both, well, you're Virgo, aren't you? And I'm
Yeah,
Virgo ascending.
yeah,
So that's part of our like perfectionist self. And I totally get it. Even still now, like I go into self-doubt and comparison sometimes, like, and I have to pull myself out of it and go, no, no, because, it's so
yeah,
easy because our gifts don't always, like, we don't fully understand that they're mystical, right? And so we see someone else who's doing something similar and we're like, oh my God, they have this and that and the other and I don't. And, you
yeah,
know, it's so common. It is so common, honestly. I get it so much, and I think there's very few people who don't go into that. But we really do need to bring ourselves back into remembering that we're all, like you said, a unique piece of the jigsaw puzzle. We're all a unique thread in the tapestry, and a lot
yeah.
of us healing. Like, it only came up to my awareness recently, actually, that I'm still healing from the sisterhood wound. Like, and a lot of that I think
Mm,
really comes from
yeah,
ancient times in Atlantis and Egypt as well, for my lifetimes there, of,
yeah,
a lot of us are overcoming sort of that betrayal and competition and rivalry and all those things that's so subconscious you don't realize it's there, or being overthrown or taken down, or
yeah,
all those things. And so a lot of us are healing at deeper levels that conflict energy that we hold within ourselves, and that has come down through even galactic stuff, right? You know,
Yeah.
and so as we heal in this lifetime, it's all about bringing light to all of that so we can restore harmony within, restore that unity within, so we can just bring more of that to the world. And you can see that's really playing out now in the
Yeah.
collective.
Yeah. And one thing I've definitely learned is that, like in a group session, for example, that I've been in, and somebody not even popular, not even expressing their gifts yet, was holding all the keys that we need for this matrix, this ascension, this construct, this template, to heal it, to bring more light into it. And I'm like, wow, it is true. Many of us don't even know what we're doing on a soul level in the background just by being here.
Yeah,
So I'd
it's
like
true.
to make it
Yeah,
clear right now to everyone: give yourself a break. Let's
yeah,
give
thank you.
ourselves a break, and let's just embrace every day, day by day. So it's a joyful one, embrace it. If it's a sad one, embrace that too. Don't feel guilty.
Oh,
Just,
yeah, thanks for saying that. It's so true. It's so true.
yeah,
So just by being here and being present here, we're emitting light and we're serving a purpose. You know, we can also get on this treadmill of always needing to be more or find more, or, you know, nothing's never enough. And
yeah,
so thank you for saying that, because I one healer I used to follow, a woman years ago, used to always have this saying: I love myself unconditionally as I am, how I am, where I am right now,
yes,
and I open up to what's possible. So you're always in that place of acceptance, because acceptance is so powerful. Being in presence and acceptance in itself,
yes,
genuinely being in that state of acceptance, opens up massive gateways to healing. You
yes,
can't go, oh, I'm going to accept, so I get that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
but essentially what I'm saying is that being in acceptance of exactly who we are, where we are in love, is powerful, powerful, powerful. Not needing to always be chasing the next thing, not always needing to be more, not always needing to, you know, there's a lot of temptation to go into that, because, you know,
yeah,
social media and YouTube is just full of stuff, isn't it?
yeah,
And, you know, we can easily get into the next video, the next video, the next video, the next video. And it's all kind of avoiding being with ourselves where
yeah,
we are.
yeah.
Not that I'm
So,
knocking
yeah,
that, of course, because we're doing a YouTube video now, but it's like acknowledging that the balance of who we are and where we are is always perfect, and
yes,
each of us are unique, and we don't have to always be doing, you know, and being in that presence. If you can be in your heart with presence and just be that, that's powerful,
yeah.
I
Let's
believe.
be mindful, right? Let's remind everyone to be mindful of, if what you are watching on YouTube is more of a consumption addiction or a distraction, then pause and reflect for a moment, just to see, am I really being called to watch this? Is it because it's going to serve me, my highest purpose, my highest good, my highest self? Is it going to serve my journey, or am I just watching it just because I'm curious? Let's, maybe try and bring some awareness into what we watch. We could be guided to by our higher self, because Emily may be holding light codes that you need in this moment, or this person may be holding a space for a certain clearing that you need. So yes, do listen to your intuition, but that requires reflection and pause before we go click, 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 on
Yes.
Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely perfectly said. I actually say that on my videos. I kind of
Yeah,
actively say, you know, tune in to your own intuition to see if this is right for you or not.
yeah,
Because, you know, it's important. I really encourage everyone to pause, take more pauses throughout the day, through everything, because your choices and your thoughts and your choices and your actions matter, you know, and
yeah,
they're powerful. The more we hold light, the more responsibility we have for our focus and what actions we take. And
exactly.
you know, a lot of us can get into distraction.
Yeah, beautiful.
Over
So,
consumption, you said.
yeah, so we are, of course, all of us on an awakening journey to a different level, different timing. In particular to yours, how did your gifts just show up one day, or did they? Did like did it just happen spontaneously, or did you get signs, or not warnings, it's not the word I'm looking for, but did you get like a bit of awareness that something is coming or something is changing?
So talking about my light language now, right? I talk specifically about this
Yeah.
because I still
And your
feel like,
gifts.
yeah, well, so there's a number of gifts. So you could say that my empathy is a gift. So that's kind of
Yeah.
would be
Okay.
been with me always, right?
Okay.
And my ability to hold space for others. Some of it is like my blueprint of what I came in with, and some of it um, has been a harder journey, and some of it has been an interesting journey. So my healing gift. So what happened was when I started awakening to my priestess or healing
Yeah.
abilities. Um, well, there's where do I start with this? So some of it was way before the light language came online. I was already doing a lot of work. So I'd already been for several years doing a lot of learning that I can see and read energy. So when I
Oh,
started awakening, I suddenly they were quite abrupt actually. All my gifts were quite abrupt. I suddenly saw energies everywhere. I would see things flying out the wall. I saw things coming out the laptops.
what?
I saw figures walking through my kitchen. I saw it was just crazy. I was like, what is going on? I saw sacred geometry. I'd lie there at night and just look up and just see kaleidoscopic shapes, different colors. I had angelic beings visiting me. I had very strange alien like kind of orb things visiting me. I had so many weird
Wow.
mystical experiences. It was a bit freaky and frightening, to be honest with you, at the time, because I didn't know what was happening. And then
Wow.
I so I realized that, and I started having to quickly learn discernment and like think what is going on. And I really, my journey as a high priestess, starseed, light worker, whatever you want to label it as,
Yeah.
it's difficult to put into words really, but I'm using these terms just for ease.
Yeah.
But I kind of was thrown in head first, or I say crown chakra first, because it was through an experiential journey. I hadn't done any studying. I hadn't done any all the training I'd done was all to do with health, really. It wasn't
Yeah.
spiritual. And I did enroll on this course in 2019, actually, which was about the divine feminine, and that opened up a lot for me. And I realized that as the woman who holds it, who's a channel, was often doing some of the healing work, I'd kind of feel stuff happen through my body, and I'd feel like I was moving energy. I'd kind of something came through me, and I was like, oh. And then I realized just through my own practices, the more I came in, realized I was opening up to my channeling and my multidimensional abilities. It was quite scary because I didn't know what was happening. Um, and so I just was like learning as I go.
Yeah.
With the light language though, so I was already doing so all of that was a few years before the light language came on, when I was learning that I could um start to move energy, and a lot of it was about coming into the heart. So when I first came into my practice and was doing trauma healing, I trained in something called heart math, which is where Heart Haven originated, which we'll come to later. But really, for me, it was a journey through the heart. And so I started to really come more and more into my heart. And I realized that when I was really present in my heart, when I'd see energies come into my awareness, and I realized that then I could speak to that energy and move that energy or transmute that energy. And I
Wow.
started, that became, I'm talking very, very simply, but that's kind of where it all started. And I was like, oh, so I became like a witness, like I was able to come into complete witness state in my heart, where I was able to come into neutrality, and I'd just witness lots and lots of dark stuff, and I'd be like, bring it into the light, bring it into the light, bring it into the light. Or I'd be worked out that I could clear spaces. So one of the first things I would do is I realized I did a house clearing, because I've always seemed to be drawn to living in these old, very old buildings in the UK or abroad, and that I've actually cleared, by what came through me. I had no training, but I realized when I started to do it, stuff came through and I was able to clear the space. And so I learned kind of that way. Now, the light language came on a bit later and was completely unexpected. I had no idea it was coming. I had no desire, wasn't looking for it. I didn't really know what it was. I had heard a couple of
Wow.
people speak light language, and I was like, oh, okay. And a couple of my friends would talk about light language, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever, kind of. That was it.
Right.
And I'd started as part of my embodiment and healing process, I'd started a regular dance practice, like just a free dance where I just really move my body for just 10-15 minutes a day and just see what my body wanted to do as a form of expression. So it's very, very important for me to open up to expressing myself more freely. And that seemed to open a gateway. And one day then when I was doing my spiritual practice, suddenly the light language came through in hand mudras and voice. And I was like, oh, what's that? And I was like, oh, this must be that light language thing.
Wow.
And then it's really funny. That same day, I watched this YouTube video of this woman just that happened to come up at the time. And at the end of it, she spoke light language. She did this thing. I was like, oh my God, that sounds like my light language. Oh my God, that's what I was just doing. And it was like a confirmation for me. Now,
Yeah.
the interesting thing is, before that, I can't remember the time frame. It must have been months. Before that, I had a vivid dream one night, or you could say a vision, because it wasn't really when I was in a full-on dream state. It was when I was that between sleep and wake state. I
Yeah.
suddenly had very vivid awareness that I was a masculine being speaking what I now know to be light language, because it's a completely different language, reading tablets,
Wow, I
reading
get goosebumps.
descriptions on tablets, right? And it sounded very like, and I was like, I woke up and I was from it, and I was like, because it was like I was that person
Yeah.
speaking that language, and I was reading tablets on that. Now, after that, then I came across this book called Tablets of Light, which is channeling of Thoth, right? By
Right.
Daniel Rama Hoffman, and I was drawn to that because it's all about the Thoth and the Egyptian mysteries, right? And so I started reading that, and I think that was kind of acted a bit like an activation of to it was all about unity consciousness, and that was the only thing I ever read. I didn't read any other books or
Wow.
follow any other teachings, but somehow I was drawn to that book, and that seemed to influence me because I obviously have a very strong Atlantean Egyptian heritage as the priestess,
Yeah.
as a lot of
Yeah.
us do. And so that seemed to awaken something within me. And then from that moment, I started speaking light language literally every day. It didn't stop. That was in March 2023. And it was just rapid. It was just, and then the dialects have changed. If you go back to my earlier videos, like they're completely different to what I speak now. And so it's more than just my own language. It's more that I realized I realized that I'm an open channel. One day I was sunbathing in the garden,
Right.
just doing nothing, and suddenly I heard as clear as anything, a voice in my head say, "You are a level 3 open channel." And I was like, "What the hell is that? And what does that mean?
Wow.
How many levels are I didn't know. And I was kind of like, my ego was kind of like, okay, yeah,
Wow.
whatever. Because I
Yeah.
still don't even feel like a channel. That's why I'm laughing. Because you've
Yeah.
heard my videos, I often say, oh, I don't feel like I'm really channeling, because I don't. But I guess that's because part of my gifting is to be so open as a channel, and that's why I've had to learn so
Right.
much. But for light codes, I guess, right? And so what I bring through, and the reason my light codes can often be very complex and diverse, is because I'm able to bring in frequencies from all kind of places, and even from earthly frequencies and plant frequencies to color frequencies to all these different galactic frequencies. And they're not just, I don't like channel like a lot of people might channel a collective or a being
Yeah.
or say this is that, this is that. Mine's kind of very varied. Like I often say, it's like an orchestra, and
Wow.
and of kind of my team and of frequencies that can most come into assist and serve for what is needed or what could most facilitate healing. And so I've learned through various ways over the last year or so. I can feel connection to certain frequencies. Like I'm very connected to Andromedan energy, Venusian energy, Lyran. But there's been so many.
Yeah.
But also it's more than just beings. It's frequencies of locations or frequencies of locations or I mean, it goes even beyond my mental comprehension, to be honest. I don't often get the clarity like that because it's just so vast. I did hear one, my team channeled through a friend of mine that my Yanasheo is
Yes.
a frequency of a location, like a sort of galactic hub, where a lot of us had a lot of soul training and came into this universe. Um, Actually, I can't remember if it's this universe, but somewhere, obviously there's no
Wow.
real time and space, but kind of just putting it in very simple terms to
Yeah.
understand it. That a place a lot of us remember. When I sing it, it activates your remembrance of that place and your gifts, and that what you've come in
Wow.
to share. So I kind of, when I was very active on YouTube last year, I kind of knew that it was part of that last year I needed to help connect people. And so I had to be really visible. So I had to push through the fear of being seen, because I did not want to do this in public. But for some reason, I was called to bring these frequencies through to help people connect to their own frequencies and remember who they are and their gifts and their training they
Wow.
came in here for. So that's really interesting. But also, I feel that the Anna show
Yeah.
is very core to my heart, because whenever I come really deep into my heart, it just springs, it just sings from my heart. And so
Yeah.
it's linked to that as well. But that's the complexity of it, because some of my codes,
Wow.
as you hear, are clicking and popping, and um, you know,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. Even to me, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
And I love your humility. Like sometimes I feel you're way too humble. Like you're so amazing, Emily. Like I am always blown away by, and I'm sure that my expansion right now and my light language is going to expand more and more because I'm just getting into it, right? And I'm sometimes blown away by what I'm learning it's about. Um, but yeah, these beings, like the one you said you were a masculine reading, do you feel like you may have embodied Thoth in another life?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I mean, I think a lot of us have. I think a lot of us have, you know, sometimes it feels really individual. Sometimes it feels like, oh, I was this in another life, or I am this in another life. But I think I have a sense that it's more collect, like a lot of us have been, a lot of
Yeah,
us have shared experiences like that, or we connect with that energy or that frequency. But yes, um, I had that connection at that time. And at that time, I did do some written in English channels from Thoth. So that was a connection at that time that seemed to be quite important for me. And that makes sense as kind of messenger of the gods, right? Because Thoth is kind of like Mercury. And
yeah.
interesting, Mercury is conjunct my sun in my birth chart. So that might be another aspect, who knows? But
That's
it
very
could have been. It's
interesting.
very interesting that I felt very masculine in that thing, and it would make that kind of makes sense with the tablets.
Wow.
Yeah, so who knows?
Because
I
my
have,
Thoth is one of my guides,
yeah,
apparently. And
yeah.
in my recently, I had my chart read by William, actually. There was a guest on my show, and he said, everything in it is ruled by the sun and Mercury. Everything I'm ruled by Mercury everywhere. And the
Oh,
sun.
so similar. So maybe that's why we connect so much, you
Yeah,
know, because we're both on a really similar path, and we both have similar aspects like that, and that
yeah,
might be part of um this path of being, a priestess for light codes, because or
yeah,
using
yeah,
codes and frequencies as part of our gifting, because we would have done that probably and in Atlantis, probably even Lemuria, but and other locations, off-planet locations. But also Thoth was so involved in Atlantis and Egypt, and there's so many of us on the priest path have got that lineage, so it makes sense.
yeah,
That was all about the language as well, and or
yeah.
codes.
Because
So
like you, I also have Andromedan, Lyran, Pleiadian. Uh, I recently found out I'm one of the 13 Sisterhood of the Rose, 13 Star Mothers. That's it. So that's quite fascinating. I'm still not quite sure what it means, but
I don't receive like that much clarity about that, and sometimes I just have to just trust. In fact, my team did say I'm deliberately sometimes not told a lot of things, because so I don't go too out of myself,
right, right.
because because it's such an inward, and if ever I do that and I start doing kind of going out like that, I'm kind of
Yeah,
less embodied and less as human now, because it is so complex. And what I feel like, what I'm sometimes when I'm speaking like language, I very clearly hear or see or sense the energy that's coming through, but often I don't, because it's so varied and I just wouldn't be able to keep up with it. And also, if I start then attaching my own meaning, what I my ego thinks that means, it can be limiting. And so
Beautiful.
I'm just that's just my perspective, and I feel like my path, because part of my journey is to be my own authority, right, and to be in my own power, and to not give my power away. And so for me, it's really important that I still am human, and that I'm still very much going within and not trying to escape out or go off and give my power away anywhere outside of me. And it's a journey of learning, right, to be in your sovereignty but be so open, because I'm such an open channel. It's really important for me to be very discerning and very
Yeah.
own essence, so I can not be too attached to the energies or the
Yeah.
beings or frequencies, but just be the sort of window, if you like, for these to
Yeah.
flow through me. Because sometimes it isn't even comprehensible what these
No.
frequencies are. And so, but it's fascinating though, isn't it? To think, oh, a bit of this, bit of that,
It's
bit of the other. And it
so
is lovely. I mean,
fascinating.
it is kind of like a bit wow, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Very fascinating. And you're absolutely right. These aspects of us are uh, tools where we've acquired these gifts and skills. But right here, right now, in this moment, in this life, we are humans and we're utilizing these skills to do the work. But
Yeah,
we shouldn't be attached to,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, I know we're all on a macro level, we're all source.
yeah, yeah. We are
But
all source, and essentially,
yeah,
I think our multidimensionality is what we're opening up to, is realizing that we are all these aspects, right? We have part of us that is this
yeah,
Palladian aspect, part of this is this Andromedan aspect, and these are all our soul
yeah,
history, or where we're having other incarnations, or where we're drawing from. And but through this human experience
yeah,
right now. So it's a kind of acknowledging the wholeness of it. So often when I'm in that place in my heart, I kind of feel all of it, and I'm
yes,
just kind of streaming where what parts I need to stream for what is needed. Like I had a channel tell me that I choose my team every night because I have different things that are needed for the work I'm
wow,
doing. So it's never not even that we have the same team. It's all kind of much more vast and complex than we can probably even begin to understand. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
think we're opening more and more up to understanding, but not necessarily a mental understanding. It's like what we feel within. So often when as I'm awakening more and more, when I'm in that space within, it kind of feels, um, less human, but kind of human at the same time. But I kind of feel
yeah,
spaciousness. It's like I'm opening up to more of a vast spaciousness
yeah,
through me, that I can have perception of the vastness, if you see what I mean,
fascinating.
and be here. It's like this, oh, I'm
Yeah,
that, and I'm that, oh, I'm that, and I'm that.
yeah, exactly. It's not just what we are, it's all that we've been or all that we are. And we can choose to utilize an aspect here and there, depending what is needed in the moment. So yeah, it's beautiful. And you're doing such good work. And I call it work because I mean, it is work in a sense. Um, it's very complex and it's very fascinating. And I hear it every week that we do the Heart Haven in your beautiful community. And I want you to talk about that a little bit because it's it's your Yana Shea also that makes me feel um, grounded because I do it with you. I feel called to say it with you when you say it. Um, and it's almost as if you're saying it when the group requires some grounding, more heart space connection. Am I correct? Like,
I feel that, yeah, I feel that. So, Heart Haven I created because I really feel that we need more heart on this planet, and way before the light language, I feel um more heart energy, heart consciousness, Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, the same thing really is what I'm here to bring more of and flow more of. And
mhm,
essentially at the end of the day, we all kind of want know that we want to be and receive and flow and share more love, right?
Yeah.
And so Heart Haven was originally designed as a space to come more to our hearts, but through heart coherence. And that's what I used to practice for a long time, which is the heart math technique, which is breathing slowly in and out of our heart, which brings you into a sort of coherent heart brain coherent state. So, and that's great in itself, but it started to become much more than that, because once that, then my light language came online and I felt called to bring that transmission through as well. And so it's called the Heart Haven because I really wanted people to feel more in their heart, more in their bodies, because I'm still about being grounded. I'm still about being here as a human and living a grounded spirituality, right? So we are of the stars and we are of the earth, and to really just help us connect with all of it in this now, through our bodies and through our hearts, and to feel more like balance in our balance and regulation through our nervous systems, and to honor these physical vessels who go through so much in this journey.
Yeah.
And so now I do it every week, and it's grown massively, and it's a beautiful space where we come together, and yes, we feel like a group energy through the heart when we come together, and we all come into our bodies and emanate this heart frequency, which is really powerful as a group. And then I bring through light language that assists us as a group, and the Sheo is often comes through because it's through the heart. And so many people write to me about this, Caroline, and often so many people sing it. So I feel like there's lots of people singing it around the world as well, and it feels people resonate with it, and it calls them back home. And so that's what I feel it must be doing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful community. And that's what you do. You do a Zoom
Yeah.
space recording that is being shared for the members, to the members of that community. People can sign up
Yeah, people
on
can
your
sign up.
website.
It's a donation based event, so it starts with a minimum of £5. I just to have a sort of an opt-in, really. It helps energetically people have that opting in. But for those who really can't even do that, I do offer it as a gift for those who really can't do that. And
So
it's
kind.
on live on Zoom at 8 p.m. UK time every Tuesday, and I record it and send out the replay. And so you have access. So if people sign up to my newsletter, then they can be part of it. And it's a
Yeah.
really lovely space. It feels like when we connect as a group like that, something really powerful happens. Like even though I'm facilitating it, I'm kind of leading it, you could say, all of our energy together is powerful, it's palpable, and you can feel
Yeah.
it, right?
Oh, I
And so
can so feel it. And
and
the minute you start, my yawning starts. I usually do it laying down because I like that sometimes I fall asleep on it. But I will lay down and I will feel how powerful it is. And it's never the same. You're always being called to do a light language that is specific to whatever energies at that time, or whenever, like you said, is needed in the collective. That's what is being chosen at that time. So it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's very kind of you to do it by donation, because it just, to me, shows the purity of your willingness to assist humanity in this ascension. Then I always feel like the universe will calibrate the people that, with their hearts, they can't give more than the £5. Well, another may give 20 or 50 because their heart can, and if they felt called to it. So I really do believe in the philanthropy donation way, not judging others that charge, but to me, it feels like loving grace, because so many are unable perhaps to get assistance at this time. It may
yeah,
change, it may be on their path, but you are assisting so many, and there's free videos on YouTube. And I'm wondering right now if you feel called to do, for starters, maybe a short light language. What is your team here right now, and who's part of this call? Because don't forget, everyone, that what we are doing right now, holding this space and with Emily, is not only in the present moment. Everybody else watching later is included in this space. So whatever is being called and brought forward right now also assists you that are watching tomorrow, next week, next month. So I just wanted to make sure people understand that, right?
Mm-mm. Yeah, yeah, yes. So would you like me to do a little short one first?
Yeah, please. For
Let me
whatever you
think
feel
of
the
water. I'm going to need some water for this, but I'll
like, is your
yeah.
team here right now and who's
Oh, they're
present?
all always with me. I don't always know who they are, but it's always with me. But what I'm feeling is so what I'm feeling is I'm just feeling the energy of like feeling your preciousness, feeling your
Oh,
absolute preciousness and wholeness, and coming back to that right now. Exactly, I'm just feeling the energy of being preciously held and supported, and allowing yourself to feel the support that's here for you. So I'm going to bring through a short transmission for this first. Okay, so let's just come into our hearts and take a deep breath together. Udoi sagrade sagratum, trocata casha tropakenia. Tropesha katromeke shati, tratomeki shataranum, ikata sakrotomeki shakia naranita, tropania, ikiashenia, tromeshakia nara, iti shakratara shakamawea. Uti karashataranita, kiati shakratara ikata shatorpakini tiri shakratropakania, tishakratropakinia. So this is like helping us open our hearts to receive. Ya chiakiatra tropekinia trokashakiatera. Trokishakianarata ashekiatera. Yoromeshakiatera automewea. Yakiakarama. Ropekishatirati. Roma shakirane. Thank you. So that
you.
just very loving transmission for heart opening and to receive and to know your preciousness, how precious you are.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much. Like I feel like many of us here, of course, are a precious part of this ascension. But I hold a special spot for you in my heart, Emily. When I found you, I thought, whoa, wow, the integrity, the authenticity, the purity of heart, the loving energy you were just spewing out. Was spewing the right word? I hope that's a positive word because I'm
I
French.
like it. I like it. I like it.
It was bursting out with glitters, like it's like little tiny hearts instead of glitters. It was just like, and I really do love everything that you do. And I, of course, I will put the link below for your website, for people to sign up for your Heart Haven if they feel called to it, of course. You do one-on-one sessions. How's that going? Do you still have openings?
I do. It will probably be a couple of months before I can open up more space, but coming sort
Okay.
of into July time, I can probably open up more. I've had to put some on hold for, a bit of a waiting list going on, but
Yeah.
I do that. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. And
And I am planning on doing more group events. It's just like that's kind of in the
yeah,
works at the moment. And so I'm
yeah.
kind of I'm in one of those transition phases where I'm thinking, what's going to come through. I'm going into the next level. So watch this space.
Yeah, you're so authentic that there is some weeks we get an email, a very loving email that explains why we're not having a Heart Haven this week. But I can feel that you're so dedicated and devoted to the work that you're doing. And to me, I can't say it enough. It's absolutely beautiful. And right now, I'm kind of preparing the space to, that's why I want to plug in everyone to your website and everything, because I would like to finish with one of your light language transmissions to give people a better taste, a better vibe. I'm looking for a word and I can see it in my head, but it's not coming. A better reflection, a better like what I'm seeing is almost like we're about to be enveloping, or should I say it like this? Everyone, you're about to be enveloped with Emily's magical, unique, and amazing light language. And I feel that once we're done with whatever you feel called to do next, we may not be able to say many words because we'll be in a zone.
Yeah, often after you can't, yeah.
And so that's why I want to make sure, is there anything else you would like to say to everyone watching right now, or to anyone in the world that maybe we've not mentioned yet?
Oh my goodness. I mean, we could talk for a long time about all of this, but um, all I really want to say is that this is an inward journey. And so however sort of fascinating these gifts are that I'm going to bring through and how potent they can be, at the end of the day, you coming home to you is what this journey is about. So everything that I bring through is to help you come back to you. So there's nothing I'm doing to you. There's nothing we're here to fix or control. This is really, these codes are here to assist you really coming back to your heart, helping you come back to your own inner essence and your light and your uniqueness, and to help you be less of what you're not, so you can shine brighter and truer for yourself. So I just honor all of you and your journey and your path. Keep coming back to your heart, keep being you, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So if you feel called to
Okay.
envelop everyone with your beautiful magic, I think we're ready.
Okay. So let's see what wants to come through for all those watching, whether live or on the replay, whenever you are, wherever you are right now. I invite you to just feel comfortable. Take a few deep breaths with me. Releasing any tension, coming into your heart space. And what I'm bringing through will just only serve your highest good. That is my intention. So just use your discernment and keep in your heart space and receive what is most optimal for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Torkata shakara toropaka shinia a. Torokota shakara etike shakara atropakania a. Toroke shakara etike shakara atropakani a. Torototo ishakara etike shakara atropaka deke shatarka shakara otoke shakara etike shakara atropakani a. So I go to different areas of the body, so I'm just going to explain where I'm going, but you might be having your own experience, so just go with your own experience. But I'm coming into the solar plexus area. Ushwat inyatu trokitara niterana atu ushwat inyatu trokitara niterana trototo shaketera shaka trokita kasharanita tropa papa inia akuta keshikre etike shikre etike shikre etike shikre etike shikre etike shikre etike shikre etike shikre, coming into the middle of the sternum. Kiranu, Kiranu. Now I'm coming up to the top of the forehead and down to the sacral area. I'm just holding in the heart and the sacral now. Just going to hold here a moment. I'm just coming through various areas of the sacral now. Kia tarasha karatisha aropape inia. Ikarasha kana aha. Ikarasha pakania a. Torashaka asheki itisha a. Irotoka shiki tigasha ati e. Coming to the left hip. Torashakiti isakratara tupma. Ikarasha atikishira iti ishakiana. Kia. Tropa kanisha aha. Ropa. Akrupa kashi kia. Dropa. Coming across the forehead and the left hip. Yanasheu. 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 Torakata shadrata ashatropakania. Akotoka shikere etika shikere. Tropapa niata. Ropapa niata. Ropapa anita. Kirano. So I'm still in the left hip and coming up to the crown. Kia tarakata shadrata karototumia. Terakshakara atisha aha. O shakti krati shakaratara hatum. Kratara shataka shadratara sha. Tortaka shadratite. Rashatara topaha. Ikrashatara to. Tratite. Trotototo. Kia. Tapping on the crown now. And while holding in the left hip area. Kirano. Coming into the heart center. Shegana Kotoriana. Akatakashin Heller. Sheyana Karatuka Kesheani. Ratara Shatropania. Ikarashatara Atshadara. Ropapaniata. Tropakeshinia aha. Kirano. Really grounding down into the earth now with the left hip. Back up to the heart. Kirano. Coming to the left side of the heart, the left side of the chest. Ikiarati shagrataratum. Ikarashatara ata Akotaka shikere etike shikere. Ropapa inyatu. Dropati shakiti. Erata rotuma away. Akotoka shikere etike shikere. Dropateke shikere ateke shikere. Dropakania. Comes to the right shoulder. Ikarashatara eshikere etike shikere. Dropakania Tortototeke shataka shatrototeke shakata kashatropakichinia. Tortoto. Coming up to the crown, tapping on the crown. Reaching right high above the head. Coming down through the head, through the jaw. To the chin. Ikarata sharatum, iskarata ashkaratum. Turkata ashkara atopapa inita, ropata anita alan. Akotoke shikre etike shikre, rush. Akotoke shikre etike shikre, coming right into the heart center. Oi shakiete rasha anita, rotopma keshia aha. Ikarata ashatro keteke ya aha. Yanasheo. Kia. Up to the forehead. Yanashio, yanashio, wakano, wakano, trokitara, nitarana, atu, atu, atu. So I'm really working around this left hip, and I'm really sort of feeling I'm opening up some of our upper channels to really be able to receive more here. There's quite a lot of angelic frequencies here. Yanashio, yanashio, wakano, wakano, trokitara, nitarana, atu, atu, atu. Kia tera shakaroto, pakashitira shatara tara shatarapania. Akote kishikar etikishikara tropata ashakitira shatara atara shatara. Atora shikar atara shatara shara shara. Rotototo shikar atara shatara shara atara. Tropata kashatara asharada atashara atashara. Ushwat inyatu trokita nitanana. Really working around the face. Itara shatarapagi shena arata arushatakoroshiki kishita kasharoto. Coming up to this point in the middle of the hairline. Aye, 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 yahu, ye, yahu, ye, ya. Aye, 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 yahu, ye, yahu, ye, ya. Ooh. Come to the left temple. Just holding here a moment. Yete shikarati shikaratum, dorkata kashatara ata Ikarashatro pakini aha. Ikarashat arsakorsha etikishikara otropanaya. Coming behind working all the way behind the left ear. Ikashata shakalana, ikiratara shatropakini, ikarateresha atira shatropakini a, ikarasha arapapa, iani ara, coming to the throat chakra. Ikarasha atakashatro katakeshikara atropakini, ikarasha atakashatra takashata karashikishikara takishikara torokeshikisha, akatakeshikara tukatakashata kashakara tukatakeshikara 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 trokatakeshikisha, ikarashakara keshikara tukatakeshikara torokeshikara tekeshikara torokeshikara tekeshikara. Takeshikara tekeshikara tokeshikara tekeshikara tukashikara tekeshikara taka takashake tekeshikara tukashikara tekeshikara torokopaka ikarashake tekeshikara toropakaniya so we're doing some throat activation here. Come up to the chin. Shayana Kotoriana, Shayana Kotoriana, Shayana Kotoriana, Akatakashina, Rosha. Ushwat inyatu, Rokita Nitana, tu. Coming up to this point above on the head. I feel like we're really opening up some of these channels to activate some light language here and activate your throat. Ikara shakara 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 shakara. Coming through the forehead. Working through the face. Coming into the heart, the middle of the chest, with the chin. Kirano. 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 Coming to the left shoulder. Oi shakita rashetera anna. To pekinia. Ikarashatro kumeya. Ikrata rashatro toto. Yakenia. Trokata sakrato tokata kesata kostaka tokasakara atoroto pakini. Trakata kasaro tokata kasata keshikara tekeshikaro tokata kesheya. Hu. Ikra tikra sata. Tropa pekka tikra shatro kotokehi. Ikra taro toto. Ikrata kasharata kasarota kashikaro tokata keshikara tropakini. So we're coming all around the sort of left shoulder here. So we're working quite a lot on the left side. Terashatarashete sharanita, rome shekianita rana, ikarashatorome kishakiani, irasatarashatropania, hi, atasharatoropakinia a, kia. Ushva inyatu, rokitaranita rana, tu. Working sort of down on the shoulder here on the left. Ja tesharatum, ikarasha anita, ikaratarasha opa, isha, ikaratisha aha, akoto shikra ateshara ah. Ikarasha arana, ikarashatara arana, ikashatara arana, uffe. Kia. Ushvat inyatu rokitaranita ranatu. Working still on the left shoulder and the heart. Oh, so it's feeling quite some burden, some energy here, a lot of heaviness. I'm just releasing from the shoulder. Yanashehu, 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 Yanashehu. Coming to the third eye. Iterashata ashakatukatarashatarpania, ateshikaratum, ikeshikaratum, ushvat inyaturokitaraniterana. So I'm just holding the third eye here. Yanasheo, wakano, trokitaraniterana, rutoshvatianita, romeshekianita, rana. Kiekarashatarashatarpapapa anita, roma. Coming up to the forehead. Yanasheo, wakano, trokitaraniterana tu. Kiate sharate arana. Ikrate shara anyatum. Ikrate shara ata Ikrasharome ishaki. Ikratara shakanum. Ikrate shara Ikrashatropakini iya Right in the heart now. Ikrashati ishameya. Ikrate shatropakinia. Oropania tropakishiki. Yatara shatropakinia Yashayana. Ishayania So a bit of clearing from the heart here. So a bit of sadness I'm feeling. Oh yania ashekianara. Ikira nara. Ikira nara. Roshonomawe aha. Ikira tisha kanama. Ikira trome kishati ania ha. Onoma shekianera. Akiatrome kishatirani. Ikira troshakiati ishanara mara. Ikrotome kishiti. Rateshatira Ikira sheraniaha. Irashatroma kisheti, yatroma kishatiranara, otumekiati shirati, ratarashatromeyaha, ikrotomeya sheyani, yatrashakomawe, yatrashikira nara, oshvaniania, hara. Feeling a real compassion energy coming in for some heart healing there. A lot of pain and feels like sadness and sorrow held in the heart. Yanashehu, 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 Yanashehu. Working through the face back up to the crown now. Just holding in the crown on this left shoulder. Itarashatrupakania, aha. Trotu. Ushvat inatu, rokitaranita danatu. Kirano. Coming back into the throat. Oi shakitara shatropenki shatira hete. Rotopaki shatira he. Ikrashatro katakashete etikashikre. Tropa. Ushvat inatu, rokitaranita dana. Coming up to the chin. Yanashehu, 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 Yanasheo. Reaching right above the head. Really high, 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 high. Back down to the forehead. Shagana Kotoriana, Shagana Kotoriana, Shagana Kotoriana. Akatakashini Harush. Holding in the third eye and the chin now. Ikarashata Iskaratum, Ikarashatara Atara, 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 Ushwat Inyat, Rokitaranitana. That's the heart. Yanasheo, Wakano, Trokitaraniterana, Atu. Ikarasha Arata, Arashotromekishiti, Tropakanita Arana. Coming to the left jaw. So all of this is around really sort of upper body really. Ikirashatara, Arashatara, Atarashatara, 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 coming around the left jaw, behind the left ear. Ikia, kia, Tropakiniaha. Back to the chin. Just holding here. Itarashatira, Itera, Atara, Ikara isha ite Ikara isha kite aram a. Ikara tropeki ni. Ikara tarasha a. A tropeki ishite a. Ikara terasha aropaki Aroma. Atu. Back up to behind the left ear. Quite a long transmission. Ikara shatara. Got quite a lot of my team coming through for us today. I'm coming round to the back of the skull now. Right at the back of where the head meets the neck. Back to the crown. Yashetira tropakiniaha. Shayana Katoriana. Akatakashini harusha. Kirano. Now I'm coming back to the solar plexus where we started. Just holding here. Kia tara shatropeke shinia haha. Ikira shatara otropekenia. Ikara shatro katakashatra keshikra itikeshikra trotototo. Ikara shatra keshatiketi keshakro tokashikra itikeshikra tokashenia. Kia. Tropa. Feeling a lot of light come through the solar plexus now. Yanasheo, wakano, trokitaraniterana, atu. Let's take a deep breath together. Shayana Kotoriana, Akatakashina, atu. I'm just coming up to across the collarbones, left and right here. Yitirashatara ashatara Ikrotumma. Ashe. Ikiarata arshania. Coming across the shoulder to shoulder. Ikarata arshatara Ikarata arashatropakania. Ikarasha arasha. Aropatekashitra ataraha. Ufwe. Now I'm coming all across the shoulders, up the side of the head, the skull. Kia to the crown. Kia te sarati arana. Iakia nara. Tropalania hea. Umahue. Ikaratara shara. Yatara shatara atara shara. Ishara arashara. Atara shara. Ropapa nia. Kia. Ropa. Through the third eye. Go come to the crown and solar plexus. Yanashio, wakano, dorkitara nitarana. Chin. Yak, heart. So I'm just holding in the heart and solar plexus. I feel we might be coming to a close now, so we'll just hold here and see if anything else wants to come through about this. Yitirashati, shikarate ashatum, ikarashetara, ropapa, ikarashati ke shikara atoropakinia a. Shayana Katoriana, Akatakashina, right, so I'm coming down actually to the right sort of hip waist area. Shayana Katoriana, the right thigh. Shayana Katoriana, Akatakashina, the right knee. Yanashehu, 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 Yanashehu. And I'm coming into the sacral, so I'm holding the solar plexus and the sacral. Just coming to each hip now. Ishikira ita aha. Coming down the thighs, the side of each thigh, towards the outer of each knee. Kianara nara na. Kirana 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 nara na. Ushwat inyatu rokitara nitarana tu. Ushwat inyatu rokitara nitarana. Just doing some work on the right, above each knee, and working down to the right side of each knee. Shayana Kotoriana, Akatakashina, atu. Right, just working around to the inner knee. Yeah, kiata ashatara tropakinia, to the top of each thigh, to each hip. Ikiaratara shatropagni, to the heart and the navel, heart and solar plexus, forehead, crown. Yanashehu, 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 Yanasheo, Yanasheo, Yanasheo. And with that, we are complete. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that was a
Emily,
bit longer than I thought. So
this was beautiful. This is where Heart Haven happened this week.
yeah, it may be, yeah.
Wow.
No, we had
So
a big array of frequencies come through for us all today. So it's quite interesting, quite complex. So I'll leave everyone
yes.
to interpret that. But I felt like a lot of us a throat activation. We're really opening a lot of channels here to receive more, a lot of work around the face and the jaw, the shoulders, a lot of calibration work. I mean, there's a lot there going down to the knees. I mean,
Yeah, I feel a bit spacey. I could feel the heat. I felt a lot of pressure on my third eye. I did feel it in my throat. I felt it everywhere. And I'm like, wow, everyone, you just experienced a Heart Haven moment. That's basically what you do every week for everyone, donation based. I am so
yeah,
grateful for
yeah.
this right now.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I feel like it always is. People receive what they need. Obviously, when we've got a group, everyone receives. It's amazing what you can
Yeah,
receive personally, even in a group setting. And it always works with the energies of the moment, what we're moving through. So I trust and I pray and trust and that this benefits and supports everyone optimally for their path, their journey. So thank you for this opportunity to share my gift. And thank you for everyone's participation, because I don't believe anyone's passive in it. Everyone contributes. It's always interactive
yeah.
and collaborative. So thank you for you, Caroline, for holding space for me to bring through these light codes, and for everyone who's watching to enable this to happen, and you called forth these codes. So
Wow,
thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you so much, Emily. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you for accepting to be a guest on my show. Thank you for your beautiful, powerful, beyond words transmissions, and the one you just gifted us with right now in my audience. I'm truly grateful, and wow, like I'm a little woozy right now. So
Yes, if everyone's, that's a good point, Caroline. So it could be that you feel a bit woozy after that, because they work quite deeply, right? They're quite healing.
yeah.
And so you might want to drink plenty of water or have a rest, and not go off doing something too manic. And
Don't go
so
to
I
the gym right now.
do what you feel right, because sometimes it feels
Yeah.
like for people to rest, sometimes move their body. Just trust your guidance, but trust that there might be energy movement happening. So you might need to integrate and calibrate that. But trust your own body wisdom. Just listen, and I wouldn't rush off to do anything crazy right now.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for being in this space with me, Emily. And I'm
So much.
pretty sure I'll see you next week on Heart Haven. And I do watch your videos on YouTube, even if they're older ones or not so
Yes,
recent.
I haven't done one. I haven't been on YouTube actually for a few months, because I've been going through some quite internal processes, but I hope to be back soon. But yes, the old ones, they always meet you where you are.
I
So
often
have a look.
rewatch them. I
Yeah,
feel
I mean, a lot
called.
of people do. They feel called to one. They seem to show up when people need them. And so just trust if that's right for you.
Well, thank you. And I wish you a beautiful, beautiful rest of your weekend. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you, Emily. I love you.
Love you too.